Hello, everybody, and welcome to Forever Sports. Sacha Feinberg-Mngomezulu has officially been named the URC Player of the Season as the Young Stars. Meteoric rise to the top continues. Now, he's come under a bit of scrutiny over the last few days for a bit of a hot and cold performance in the quarterfinal for the Stormers, where I personally think the entire team was just off his mark. But that should not make a difference to what has been a phenomenal season for the youngster. And I tell you what, when he's on, there are few players in the world that are better to watch than him right now, and fully deserving of the Player of the Season award. Another big award was the Next Gen Player of the Season, and that went to Cameron Hanekom. So South Africa being blessed with two prodigious talents, and one in the forwards, one in the backs. I'm hoping we're going to be talking about both these players for many, many years to come as they continue to take things up a different level. They looked so comfortable at URC level. Let's hope they can sort of translate that kind of form into the internationals when they turn out for the Springboks later this year. There were also a host of other prizes and awards basically given out from the URC, as well as an Elite 15 of kind of your URC team of the season. So we're going to have a look at all the different award winners as well as that team, and I'll be very interested to know what you guys think of the awards themselves. Before we do that, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Let's get into it. So as mentioned, Sacha Feinberg-Mngomezulu named the best, the South African Vodacom URC Player of the Season. There's usually a BKT one as well for sort of the European-based players, but that is what he's been awarded. Other awards, Ruben van Heerden has been named the Tackle Machine, 171 tackles made at 97.7% accuracy. I mean, that's basically missing next to no tackles throughout the season. I do feel he is harshly overlooked by Rassie Rasmussen and his coaching staff. I don't think he'd look out of sorts in a Springbok squad, to be perfectly honest. I've been saying it for quite a while. I think he's quite a big player. He's got a massive engine on him, good physicality, good work rate. But obviously certain things that the coaches look at within each player that they obviously just don't quite see in Ruben van Heerden compared to the other locks. But another really strong season from the big man. Harry Millard was the OFX top try scorer with 9 tries and 13 appearances. That's an incredible strike rate. It's always interesting seeing which sort of teams some of these players play for. Not necessarily your top teams always. And really cool to see Harry Millard from Cardiff getting that recognition, scoring all those tries for fun, and name to keep eye on in the next season or two. Owen Lloyd won the Gilbert Golden Boot. 26 penalties, 22 conversions, 124 points. Wales desperately need somebody to really grab the number 10 jersey and say, I'm here. You know, they've not been able to replace a Dan Biggar or Gareth Anscombe, which is no small feat. In fairness, those two players absolutely top on their day. Wales are looking for their next, talent. And Owen Lloyd is one of them, trying to put himself in the mix and trying to make himself a constant in that Welsh side. What's going to be interesting is, obviously when they eventually sort out the new Welsh coaching staff, where they saw what direction they're going to go. And in fact, on that note, Lee Halfpenny's actually been drafted in to help the Wales coaches, which would be an interesting one as well with regards to somebody like Ian Lloyd and the Golden Boot and working on their kicking as well as sort of the general backline play. Tom Farrell, the very talented hooker, centre from Munster, is the playmaker. He got 5 try assists, 61 defenders beaten, 41 offloads. He's been setting the competition alight, and will not be contesting in the semi-finals, but a very impressive player. And I think the Irish stocks at centre are really, really good, and he's sort of putting himself back in that mix among some of the best in the world. So it's a cool player to watch. If you watch Munster, keep an eye out for him because he's a lot of fun to watch when you can. Cam Winnett won the Ironman Award, an incredible 1,427 minutes. This is an award which I think coaches actually do look at because you want to look at players who can give you a lot of minutes and game time and are reliable with regards to not necessarily breaking down with injuries. And he is one of those players. Quine Horn, for example, also has won this before. And it goes to show players who can basically stay fit for a long time. And I think it's quite an important award. It might seem arbitrary in terms of who's played the most minutes. It also obviously flags players that need to be rested, but it also shows players that can cope with playing lots of minutes. And we often see some sort of players that have to be managed very well and very carefully. Other players sort of seem to be able to play in week out without necessarily needing that rest. Cam Winnett very clearly being one of those players, also a very talented player. I think he's one of the few really exciting Welsh players coming through at the moment. Big award Cameron Hanekom, the next gen player of the season, and there's lots of very talented youngsters in the URC. So to be named basically the best youngster coming up is, first of all, very deserved and very impressive. And it's really exciting to see that from a South African perspective, we've got, as I mentioned, two such good talents. I think Cameron Hanekom is going to really wrestle that number 8 jersey away from Jasper Wiese. I do think that Jasper Wiese is probably a bit more abrasive. And what will be interesting is at the end of the day, Cameron Hanekom has got to translate what he's doing at URC level to test match level. Jasper Wiese took a while as well to sort of be able to translate that form that he had at Leicester Tigers to the Springboks. And if Cameron Hanekom can start to replicate the performances we are seeing at URC level for the Springboks, we've got our next Wayne Vermeulen. That's, I think, as simple as that. He's got an all-around good skill. So he doesn't actually necessarily even have to play at number 8. Would look very, very good in the number 6 jersey. And he's got the engine, the pace, and the jackling ability to be able to back that up. So very, very exciting player. This, for me, is quite an interesting one to look at. It is the next Gen 15. So in the front row, Jan-Hendrik Wessels, Wilco Louw, Marnus van der Merwe, a South African front row. Really cool to see Marnus van der Merwe recognized. He has been included in the box squad for good reason, because he's been fantastic for the Scarlets. And I think a lot of people are a bit confused, as to how like a Jan Grobler has been left out, or an Andre Hugo Venter watch more Scarlets rugby, because if this man was playing for one of the South African franchises, I don't think there'd be any question marks regarding his selection. Wilco Louw, I think he could have been contended for player of the season, in all honesty. He's been tremendous. He's been winning games, not single-handedly, but he's been winning scrum penalty after scrum penalty, putting the Bulls in good situations and winning them games through that. Jan-Hendrik Wessels has had the season we've been waiting for. He's now looking like the talent we saw at schoolboy level. And this is the thing, you got to trust players, and you got to trust coaches as well. Jake White brought him in quite early. Rusty Russell brought him early, and he showed glimpses, but I just don't think he ever really replicated a consistent performance threshold that made us all stand up and go, oh, hang on. This season we started to see it. We've seen the physicality he can bring in open play. His scrummaging has definitely gotten better. I think still room to work with regards to scrummaging, but his general play is absolutely superb. Archie Snyman, the main thing about this, which is so exciting, is that he's stayed fit. He's been fit for the entire season. And he features next to Ty Byrne, which, by the way, would be a phenomenal lock combination. And again, I think very excited to see Archie Snyman playing week in, week out. Also in a starting role more often than not for Leinster. I mean, Ty Byrne, for me, one of the top 5 best forwards in the world. I think he's the Irons' best player, to be perfectly honest. Can play at 5, can play at 7. I mean, it's 6 for them. He's phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. The back row, Jack Morgan. Well, he had got a deserved call up to the British and Irish Lions. He's been a one-man band really for both the Ospreys as well as Wales at times. He is a phenomenal player. He walks into, I think he walks into every single international squad in the world. I mean, even in the box, I think we'd take Jack Morgan, to be honest. He is that good. Also a big leader as well. I'm not saying you necessarily start for Springboks, but I think he'd make a squad. I think he is that good. Cameron Hanekom in the number 8 jersey, absolutely nailed down. And Roy Darge just had a good season. And the Glasgow Warriors side will be able to see. Let's see this weekend what they can do up against Leinster. Craig Casey, by the way, who will captain Ireland in their sort of summer series, their tour of Georgia and I think Portugal. He's been named the number 9. Next to Sacha Feinberg-Mngomezulu. Andre Esterhuizen's had a storming season for the Sharks. He's got next to Tom Farrell. That would also be a very good combination, especially when you got the brutality of Andre Esterhuizen next to the skill set of a Tom Farrell. You've then got Darcy Graham at 14. You've got Blair Murray at 11. And Jamie Osborne at 15. My only, and people are going to take me for being a Lions fan, my only change is you've got the URC top 100, for example. And it's interesting because you look at the URC top 100 and a lot of those players in the top sort of 5, 10 actually aren't in the squad. And that's why it's an interesting exercise, because from a URC best sort of player, I tell you what, I think Kieran Horn's had another fantastic season, and he wouldn't look amiss over there. But similarly, for example, you look at other players, and Oxen Chair is in there. Albert Lowe hasn't played enough rugby. Gerostina comes in around there. Jack Conan as well. So it's interesting how they've got players like Paul Hill, from Edinburgh, who sort of feature in that top 100. And the reason I mentioned Kieran Horn is because he's 6 on the list in sort of the URC top 100. And if you go look and try and find Jamie Osborne, I don't even think he actually features in the top 100. So that could have been maybe my only potential, but I mean, we've got so many South Africans in there. I'm certainly not going to complain. What do you think of that team? Let me know down in the comments below. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steve. I'll chat to you soon.